Atma Namaste, precious person, and welcome to Magical Mondays. I'm Avril Q, your host, and this is my channel, Avril's Qs. Now, before we go any further, I have a little bit of a disclaimer to make. There's going to be a bit of noise today on the video because my AirPods are suddenly not working, and because of that, you will be getting some background sound, specifically of a pressure cooker, because I'm shooting this during lunchtime. So I apologize in advance for that, but please stick around because the content is extremely good. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a therapist, I'm a coach, I'm a mindfulness trainer and a meditation teacher. I'm also coming up with something really exciting, my own online school, and you'll get all the information and early bird offers right down in the show notes below once you subscribe and you keep in touch with this channel. Now, I've been getting a lot of DMs and emails about what is therapy and what is coaching, how are they different? And they've understood basically what mindfulness is, most people. But therapy and coaching are a bit confusing for some. And I think that this is very important to differentiate because certain people need a therapist and certain people need a coach. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what is therapy and what is coaching and how I use all these protocols to get the best results for my clients. So let's talk about therapy first. So therapy is basically regarding an unresolved issue. For example, most people who come to therapy are dealing with issues that started a minimum of 3 to 5 years ago. Sometimes going all the way back to their childhood, sometimes even going to infancy. For example, things like trauma, physical, mental, sexual, emotional abuse, things like being exposed to violence, things like meeting with a fatal accident, having a near-death accident, witnessing somebody being killed or murdered. Even in vitro, when the child or when the fetus is in its mother's womb, there could have been something traumatic that happened to the mother and the fetus picks it up energetically. And then when the baby is born, it subconsciously remembers everything, but it has no understanding and no use of language, right? So it kind of buries it in the subconscious mind. But later on, because the mind is trying to, decipher and understand and figure things out, this person may start acting out in less than desirable ways. Okay? Especially if the trauma happened before the age of 7, where the subconscious mind is really, really active and children don't have the capability to speak, then this gets stifled inside and it comes out in maybe some sort of an addiction or some sort of dependency later on. So we have things like people-pleasing behavior, self-hatred, self-sabotage, addictions, all arising out of unresolved issues in the past, which are most often traumatic. These could show up later as anxiety, depression, low-grade depression, bipolar disorder, split personalities, all sorts of things, okay? Now, therapy is solving the issue from the past because why does this trauma interfere with people's present and, affect detrimentally their future? Well, because trauma is energy and we are energetic beings. So when something happens to us, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, we experience it through our bodies, we remember it in our minds, and we absorb it, and every single thing is registered in the subconscious mind. Now, when I said that we are energy, we are made up of the same energy as the universe, like I always say in my videos, because it's a fact, right? So our bodies have more than 83 trillion cells. And when those cells remember, because they have a memory, so when they remember this trauma, what do? They can't deal with it, right? So they stifle it down, and the subconscious mind has to protect us. So it keeps this away from us. And it compensates the pain and the trauma of that by acting out in other ways. So by addictions, by codependency, by people pleasing, by being very possessive, by getting angry, because it could be having anxiety, so many different things, right? So what do I do as a therapist? As a therapist, it's my job to do a case study, to do a timeline inquiry in my first session, which I call an icebreaker session and a chemistry session. So 30 minutes It's a free icebreaker session, and then I go back into the past with them in the next session when we figure out what is going on and we establish a little bit of a timeline. Then in the chemistry session, what we will do is we will chart the timeline and we will find out how we can get to the root of the issue. And then we use different protocols like EFT, pranic healing, subconscious reframing, cellular release, theta level meditations, and hypnosis. These are what I use, okay? And I give people a lot of subconscious affirmations just before you go to bed, just when you wake up in the morning. I use a lot of stones in terms of healing stones which they can carry with them. Walking affirmations. We use a lot of ho'oponopono to heal the trauma of the past. Okay, so that's what we do in therapy. Now I'm going to talk to you about coaching. So what is coaching? Now coaching is future based. So a person comes and they're having problems with their career, they're having problems in a relationship, they need life coaching. You hear of success coaches, career coaches, relationship coaches, what else? Life coaches, you hear so many different mindset coaches, right? What does a coach do? A coach will basically partner with their client or a coachee, as we call them, and understand what is it that the client wants, what is the client's agenda. There is no leading like a therapist. The therapist leads, explores, delves, finds out, investigates, gives therapy, gives advice, gives treatment. The coach does no such thing. A coach is your partner. A coach is there to hold your hand, but it's your agenda. You will decide, this is my goal. You will come up with the answer. So it's very, very empowering. You will come up with the answers because all the answers are within us, right? So we know the answers, but we sometimes need somebody to show us, right? So a coach does that. The coach will partner with you, hold your hand, help you navigate all those hurdles, understand what are your strengths, your weaknesses, bring them to your attention if you don't already know. And it's more forward thinking. So coaching is going towards the front, going forwards, going towards your future, okay? That's what a coach does. Now that's just in brief, right? Mindfulness, of course, a mindfulness expert will talk about how to be present, how to be aware, how to understand, how to self-regulate, how to get more emotional intelligence, how to be a peak performer, how to increase your potential. All because you understand the mind. Mindfulness is a study of the mind and the mental factors that make up the mind. And also we teach meditation. I'm a meditation teacher, so I throw in meditations. It could be analytical meditations, it could be object meditations, it could be meditations around the mind, it could be just observing meditations like a vipassana meditation. It could be mantra meditations, mudra meditations. There are so many different meditations and I get so excited about meditations, okay? So that's meditations. Now, the importance of getting a certified, trained coach or therapist is imperative because I see a lot of people doing these self-healing, self-coaching workshops on different platforms, and then the certificate that they are getting is just to certify that they have completed the course, but they think that it's a certification to teach. But that's not correct. You need to go to a therapist or coach who has been certified by an external body that has the authority to certify them because they've passed through an examination. It's a rigorous process. They have trained for a minimum of 3 months or more or less. They've done so many hours of coaching, they've done so many hours of therapy, and then they are equipped to deal with challenges, to deal with emergencies, to deal with things that they could not foresee in the past. Supposing you go to somebody who's not trained and you have a panic attack, or if a person is suicidal, or if this person goes to a coach and the coach has just watched a few YouTube videos or done some course for 15 days and doesn't know what's happening, doesn't know how to deal with this person who's come to them for coaching. Don't you think you've wasted your time, your money, and most of all, don't you think you've placed your trust in the wrong person? Because it's happened to me, and that's why I made it so imperative. I take certification so seriously that I've spent lakhs on certifying myself. I'm a certified energy therapist. I'm a certified mindfulness and meditation teacher. I'm an ICF certified coach. This involves hours of practice, hours of therapy, and hours of self-learning and practicing on myself and practicing on my peer coaches, practicing with peer pranic healers, peer EFT practitioners, peer meditators, peer mindfulness coaches, and then we go out and we help people. Because you cannot take somebody else's life for granted. Just as I love my life, I love my clients' lives, and I need to respect them. So if you need any help, please do reach out. You have a 30-minute free call with me, and there are huge discounts. Just look at the show notes below and you have all the links to my many offerings. Now don't forget, click subscribe, don't forget, click notifications, and the playlists are somewhere up here. I think I've been counting so far. Even though I'm talking to you, I've trained myself to kind of be aware of what's happening around me. I think maybe around 8 to 9 whistles on that pressure cooker. I wonder what's cooking. So anyway, take care, stay true to being you, and please do me a favor. Share this channel with somebody who might benefit. There are so many people who need help. We're not the only ones. So share this channel, subscribe, stay tuned for much more. And like I say, stay true to being you, because you matter. And I'm Avril Q.